It's your boy Crypto Millie back with another one. I really want to double down on what I've been talking about with Bittensor, with TAO. I've been using this opportunity, these dips, right? And this is regardless if the cycle ends or if we continue to go up. I really believe if you're betting on AI, Bittensor, ticker TAO, is the number one AI play in the space. Now, my conviction has strengthened, and I want to talk about this, guys. In fact, I know a lot of people have been asking me about TAO and Bittensor content, and I really haven't been making any videos because, frankly, just explaining it to the normal person, they like, what is this, right? So I want to break it down for you guys. I also want y'all to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and keep your favorite crypto and door-to-door entrepreneur inside the algorithms. And don't think I'm crazy when I say I truly believe TAO Bittensor has Bitcoin potential. It literally has similar tokenomics as Bitcoin, and they have a halving event just like Bitcoin. Now, TAO is currently sitting here at a $3 billion market cap, and I think that it's highly undervalued. I think that this is a project that should be sitting anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 per token, because my perspective, how I look at TAO, right? And you can buy this on crypto.com. If you're interested in TAO, check out my crypto.com link, earn 25 bucks, 50 bucks, whatever, and buy some TAO there, not financial advice. But if you think about the growth of AI, right? AI is pegged to be a $21 trillion market by 2030. That's insane. Not to add, looking at this chart, you can see that TAO is looking to get that ultimate RSI cross. So very, very, very explosive move. Usually when you see these ultimate RSI crosses, right? So the chart is not what I want to focus on, because I per se think that this is a long-term play. But I want to explain this to you guys in a way that the community can understand, because I truly believe that when TAO ecosystem explodes, Subnet Summer, the price of TAO is going to explode. Whether you're buying DTAO or you're buying TAO, DTAO is the subnets, right? So they have a ecosystem similar like Solana has Solana tokens. Virtuals have virtual tokens. Ethereum has ERC20 tokens. So TAO has TAO subnets, but a lot of people don't understand what TAO is and how these subnets contribute to the ecosystem. So in this video, we're going to explain it all, because again, I think TAO has massive potential. Not to add, we've been seeing Grayscale literally soft shill TAO. You can see that they have TAO as the leading token in the artificial intelligence sector. There's been multiple stocks openly adding TAO to their treasuries. So I wouldn't be surprised that in the future TAO gets a ETF. And just picture this. In my opinion, I look at TAO as literally the AI infrastructure hub that all AI will be built on, right? So just think about 2030 and us sitting in a world of AGI, right? Well, there needs to be an AI infrastructure, and I believe that Bittensor will be the chosen AI infrastructure when you compare it to Google and OpenAI. It's really those three, right? And some people would say like Near and whatever, ASI, but I want to just focus on Bittensor, OpenAI, and Google, right? They're kind of like Google and OpenAI kind of like control the market, right? And they control it in a centralized way where only AI can be trained and built with those two big companies. So TAO, Bittensor being the number one decentralized AI ecosystem, meaning that everything AI will somehow have to touch or tap TAO, just gives, in my opinion, just confirms my thesis on why this project should be $5,000 to $10,000 per token. Is severely undervalued. And Bitcoin itself was undervalued for a while. I mean, Bitcoin sat at 3,000, 6,000 for a while before it exploded, as we see, to now well over 100,000. Two public traded stocks now have TAO within their treasury. Even Cefello, I seen the post where Cefello did that. So these are stocks adding TAO to their treasury, similar to how we see MicroStrategy adding Bitcoin to its treasury, right? So let's go over my report on TAO. They currently have 127 active subnets and it's growing fast, about $3 billion in market cap. Current price of TAO at the time of this video is $344. And many people think that they're overpriced, priced out. No way. No way. No way. Like literally, if you vibe code, if you just use AI in some fashion, whether it's video creation, coding, whatever, then you understand that we are in the beginning, literally the infant stage of what AI can become. Real world adoption. I like to compare TAO to how Netflix was able to disrupt Hollywood studios, right? So just like Netflix disrupted Hollywood by democratizing content distribution, Bittensor is disrupting big tech AI by democratizing artificial intelligence development. So you can see how Netflix kind of like, you know, if you want to pause the video and pretty much look at it, I don't want to make the video too long, but you can see how Netflix disrupted the Hollywood studio model. And the same could be said here for Bittensor. The problem is right now, big tech is ran AI by OpenAI and Google, which control AI development. The solution is decentralized AI. We'll get into why. Result, I truly believe that TAO can hit a $100 billion target disrupting AI industries. When you think about the market caps of Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think that TAO has that potential. The winners here, developers get cheaper and everybody can contribute to building AI. So it won't be so left or right, if you get what I'm saying, right? If you only got a few people teaching a class, right, that class will only be learning from a few teachers. But if you got a class that's being taught, trained by multiple different teachers, right, well, now, you know, there's that expansion and there's that decentralization. And this is why it matters, right? Hospitals can train custom AI models for diagnostics without sharing patient data. Banks develop fraud detection AI without exposing transaction data. Factories optimize production with AI while keeping their trade secrets. Decentralized, right? Universities collaborate on AI research without vendor lock-in. My model believes that TAO can hit a $100 billion market cap by 2030. I think it gets there quicker, right? That would sit TAO at about 11,000. So can you imagine buying TAO? In my case, I discovered TAO around the $45, $70 level. So just imagine TAO hitting 10,000 per token, right? And TAO having 1,000 subnets, like we see with Solana, how there's just millions of tokens on Solana and it's only increasing, right? Adoption, increasing retail, increasing activity within that ecosystem. We only have 127 subnets currently, guys. And every day there's a new subnet, right? So when I look at the competitive advantage of some of the things that these other, you know, tokens are doing, TAO is the direct infrastructure leader because the subnets that are being built on TAO can literally do everything that these tokens are doing, right? Who needs fetch? Who needs render? Who needs near? Who needs graph? When there's subnets within Bittensor that's doing that, right? That save way more money than outsourcing these third parties like AWS, etc. I think ICP is the only one that where you can say it's like unique and sets its part, sets its part away from TAO in my opinion. My model also predicts there's a 70% chance that TAO, Bittensor, hits a $100 billion market cap. It's positioned at the intersection of AI and blockchain, the two most important tech trends of our time. I should close the video. I shouldn't have to say anything. Like, we're literally the intersection. AI is being used daily. Look at what happened with the robo taxis, right? And then blockchain, which every day we get new news and adoption from the government becoming pro blockchain, pro digital assets, pro crypto, right? The technology still needs to be proven, right? I think that there are really, really good subnets, and you got to understand, guys, when a person gets into, when a person buys a subnet or buys a subnet slot, It's not like creating you know, a $2 pump fund token, right? In fact, right now, in order to, let me see if I can actually find it. In order to, what's the subnet cost? Subnet price cost. I think it's like $20,000-$30,000. Don't quote me, but I know it's like $20,000-$30,000 to create a subnet, right? To get a subnet slot. So like, if you're gonna build like an AI play on TAO, you're not gonna mess around unless you just want to lose money, right? Unless you just want to lose money. So I just really think that anybody that's really building these projects and stuff like that on TAO mean business or strictly business. Market timing. $20 trillion AI blockchain opportunity by 2030. First movers advantage in decentralized AI. I just talked about this. It's the first that's allowing everybody to contribute in some way to training AI, right? And there's a few subnets that's doing some wonderful things. In the next week or so, you'll see me covering multiple subnets, and I'm finally bringing them to the channel. But I want to make sure everybody understands TAO before I bring the subnets. Sustainable economics, Bitcoin like scarcity with utility and demand. So don't forget that Bittensor only has 21 million tokens, just like Bitcoin. So we're talking about something that has scarcity and that could possibly have a supply shock in a sector that's probably going to be one of the greatest investment sectors of all time, which is artificial intelligence. Now let's talk about the subnets, because I know a lot of people you really don't understand the Bittensor subnet, and I want to explain the APY in a way that you guys can understand. So for example, right, I think I got like a little bit of money in a couple subnets, and one of the subnets I'm earning like 26% APY. So this is just an example, right? Let's say I think I got it right here. You put $1,000, right? And my subnet is earning me 26%, right? So that annual return would be $260 just for sitting my $1,000 in this subnet. I'm not going to say what subnet it is, right? But for 1 year, that far exceeds what you would get if you put $1,000 in your traditional bank, where you get 2% APY. You earn freaking $20 a year, where you can earn $260 a year just by parking $1,000 in a really, really good subnet. And the good things about the subnet is that the subnets get incentivized for executing based on demand. So a subnet like Shoots or Gradients that earns revenue, that has demand from Web 2 and these outsources, right? Those are subnets that I truly believe that's going to be around. Oh, wow. You set not financial advice, but you set a bag in there and just let it sit as, and even if you're just doing root, I don't know what the APY of root is off my head, but if you're just doing root, you know what I mean, you could just set that money and earn more than what you would make in a bank, right? Similar to staking Ethereum or staking Solana. So another example would be an apple tree. You plant your tree, right? You plant your tree, the subnet tokens, and the more tokens that you hold, earn, or buy, the more apples that you harvest. So how subnet APY actually works. Subnet process AI tasks, for example, a subnet that does image creation, right? They process the image task, right? Users pay tokens to access the AI services. So there's the utility for TAO. Subnet earns real revenue from the AI work performed. So all of those subnets that you see, right? All of those subnets that you see here, right? They're earning by executing, right? They're earning. So if you go to these emissions, I like to point out these emissions, right? The emissions kind of show you which subnet has the most demand, right? So these are the subnets that are earning the most, because these, at the time of this video, these are the subnets that people are most interested in. You can see Shoots up here. I'm a big fan of Gradients, but you can see Shoots is like by far the best subnet when it comes to like revenue generation, earning, and competing with Web 2 and traditional services, right? Whatever that may be. But you got to do your own research on these subnets. But the emissions kind of show you the demand is there from the subnet, and that these guys are building, these guys are executing. Of course, you can go to the Discord, GitHub depositories and kind of check if there's been any activity. But for the most part, this gives you an example of what subnets are actually putting their feet down, pedal to the metal, whatever. So again, I think that TAO itself is going to be here multiple cycles. So even if you don't get rich this cycle off TAO, I still think that it's an optimal investment, not financial advice, for multiple cycles to come because of the emergence of AI. So rewards distributed, revenue shared with token holders as staking rewards, API calculated annual rewards, token price equals your APY. Your APY can kind of fluctuate depending on the token price, right? Because the token goes up, the token goes down, right? So this is why a lot of people in that believe in AI are just like, I could just put my money in a subnet, or I could just stake my TAO in root, right? 2% safe but low returns. Banks. Stock market, you're getting 8% historical average, depending on what you buy. We know stocks are a little bit slower than crypto. Real estate, you get 6% based on, how much real estate you have and rental yield average. And then DeFi staking is about 12% if you're staking on something like Solana, ETH, right? To get some good staking hyper, but very variable and risky. And then you got the AI powered returns, which is the subnet tokens, on average are printing out 15% in APY. And understand, the more that these subnets pop around, of course, the APY goes down because there's more subnets, right? But when you think about the general price action of TAO, it's only going to increase from here. How you think TAO price is going to look if we got 500 freaking subnets and 3 subnets that's sitting at a $100 million, 3 subnets that have reached $1 billion market caps. 500 million, if you want to say it can meet for 1 billion, but I think there's some things within TAO that have $1 billion market cap potential. So just keep that into perspective. APY, your tokens work for you, earning more tokens while you sleep, just like dividends and stock. That's why I love the TAO ecosystem. Compounding effect, rewards earn rewards. 15% API becomes more powerful over time as your stack grows. Unlike Ponzi scheme, subnet APY comes from actual AI work. So the teams that's out there working is going to print you more money. So when you got a good subnet and you believe in a subnet and you know that this subnet isn't going anywhere and you know that this subnet generates revenue, guess what? They are getting incentivized. So as they're getting incentivized, they can open up more opportunities for the consumer and for the clients. Choose subnets with growing AI demand, strong teams, and proven revenue models. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys have an understanding on why I am so personally bullish on TAO. Let me know what you think about TAO, the whole subnet ecosystem. Hopefully I explained this in a way where everybody can finally understand TAO. Start your research on TAO and understand it's still early, in my opinion, sitting at 127 subnets. When you look at the millions of tokens that's within the Ethereum ecosystem and the Solana ecosystem. Not to add, I truly believe that this AGI that we're heading in, this era of AGI, a lot of that is going to be streamlined and built through TAO's infrastructure and ecosystem, just Web3 in general. So guys, let me know what you think about TAO. I believe it's on sale right now. This is 21 million, similar to Bitcoin, but you be the judge. Let me know in the comments. It's your boy Crypto Millie. I'll see you in the next one.